So you're a PGA Pro,
Yeah.
and I know there's Tour Pros.
That is a good point, yes.
What's the major difference?
This is the difference in a nutshell. Tour Pro is the tour,
Okay.
right? They play on the tour. But the PGA Tour only exists because of the PGA. So the PGA Tour is the little bubble inside of the big bubble.
Okay.
There's a lot of things inside this big bubble, and this big bubble is the PGA of America. And gotta specify.
Yeah.
And that's what's in there. So that Tour Pro, you can be a Tour Pro, but not be a PGA Pro. Interesting thing.
Oh, I did not know that.
And the PGA Tour was dedicated for the working PGA professionals, but as time went on, it was a little bit less. The PGA Professional being on the PGA Tour became a little bit less common until it's basically how we have it today, which if you're a PGA certified professional, you basically admitted that you're not getting on tour. It's not saying that it can't happen because that's what the PGA Championship is. It does open it up a lot more easily for PGA professionals.
Okay.
You know how you can try out for the U.S. Open. You just go to these trials, place high enough, do enough of these, I don't know if they call them trials, I should know that, but you go and try out, but it's not a tryout, it's a tournament where you have to qualify to, and there's so many rounds. And you go to the U.S. Open and maybe do okay. If for the PGA Championship, they have the same thing, but you have to be a PGA professional to even try out. So it's really dedicated to PGA professionals.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I did not know that. Like, I knew it was like in the bubble, but I didn't realize that the Tour Pros were like not necessarily PGA Pros.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's super interesting.
That's how I understand it. Yeah, it's very semantical.
That was sort of like the big deal, like why it was a big deal when the LIV tour came around, right? And like
Livy,
yeah, because the PGA basically took away their membership, right? And that's why they weren't allowing them to play.
Trenton too, yeah.
Oh, so did they actually not? Because I know now they can play in the tournaments, right?
Yeah, because I think they knew what the writing on the wall was.
They're losing out on money.
Well, they were probably going to lose out on attendance more than anything because the LIV Tour is very prosperous for those who play on that tour.
Oh, yeah.
And you don't make the same figures on the PGA Tour, and I don't understand the politics of it. I stayed away from that, actually. I did not read up on that. I just stayed away from it.
Yeah.
I knew where it was going to go. I felt the tension before the tension was there.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It was like the calm before the storm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was like the only one that I knew that felt that calm before the storm, and it was stormy when it came around. That was all people talked about for so long, in and outside of the PGA realm.
Mm-hmm.
I just was. What's your opinion, Corey? I don't know. I'm sitting back here. Yeah, that's right. That's a good one. Yeah.
That was crazy when that happened. I think it's interesting. I don't know, I'm not like super intricate into like what goes on with all the golf stuff. I like the little bit of tension. Like, I think it's funny. It adds to the lure of the tournaments. Like, oh my, like when I saw like Brooks Koepka playing the Masters and he was doing super well, I guess people like it was the first time they were back.
Mm-hmm.
And like, okay, that's sick. Like, I know how Rory was talking to all those guys, and on the internet beat was there.
Yeah.
It was like, this is sick.
I was just going to say.
The competitiveness, and there's that the stuff that no one really wanted to talk about. You know, it's like no one wanted to talk about the huge elephant in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Like the time Rory McIlroy wore a long sleeve shirt when he was playing at the Memorial in Columbus, and it was 98 degrees. You know why?
Oh, tattoos.
No.
No?
That's not. Rory, I didn't have tattoos. That's not the story. Yeah.
Do you have the story? What's the story?
Can I indulge this story?
We would love.
Rory, you didn't. Yeah,
You won't be one.
Yes. Unless.
Watch it. Let me see a followed DM from.
It's like, hey, take that
I
down.
want to know if this is true. You should fact check me on this. Then again, probably if it is true, his PR team will fact check and be like, "That didn't happen."
Yeah.
I'll leave it vague then, just so it doesn't splash back on me. Since after all, I am a PGA professional. No, little bubble, big bubble, but it's still a significant bubble.
Yeah.
Had something to do with a a fine little lass.